Hello beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. It's Sylvia here, and in today's video I'm going to be sharing with you guys a simple tutorial on how to draft a mini skirt. So if you're new here, subscribe and turn on post notifications. So to begin with this tutorial, I've gone ahead to divide my pattern paper into two, one for the front and one for the back. So starting off with the front, I'm going to label the middle of my front on fold. So when you're cutting this on fabric, make sure it is on fold for the front part. So the top line of this pattern paper, I went ahead to label the waistline, and then from there I'm going to locate my hip line. So I'm going to impute the measurement from my waistline to my hip line and label that line my hip line, and then I'll just label the end of my pattern paper my skirt length because it's already cut out as my skirt length. So but if you haven't cut out your pattern paper length, then you want to impute your skirt length, and then now we want to impute our measurements. Here I am marking out your dart measurements in case you want to add a dart to your skirt. So it's literally your bust pan measurements, your nipple to nipple measurements. Yes, that it usually works that way, so that's what I use. So that would be the width of my dart for my skirt at the waistline. So the half inches I drew on both sides are going to be what we're going to be taking in while sewing our skirts. But then if you don't want it dart on your skirt, if you want it dartless skirt, you can eliminate your dart. I will later eliminate my dart later in this video, but I just wanted to show you how to add a dart to your skirt pattern. So if you added a dart on your waistline, you want to divide your waist measurement, your round waist circumference divided by 4 plus your allowance for your dart, which is 1 inch, and then plus your side seam sewing allowance. Then you impute that on your waistline, and then on your hip line you would impute your hip measurements, your round hip measurements divided by 4 plus your side seam sewing allowance. Then same goes for your skirt length. So now on the skirt length, you can decide to make it a mini pencil skirt, you can make it an A-line skirt, you can do whatever you want at the bottom part of the skirt, but I wanted mine to be straight down from the hip, nothing fancy. So then I imputed those lines and connected them together. Then if you want to eliminate your dart, you would just measure your waist, your round waist measurement divided by 4 plus your side seam sewing allowance. Do not include anything for your dart. And then from the middle of our front pattern, we're going to come down by 1 inch and connect that 1 inch to our waist line, to the circumference. Just connect that back up and then connect that down to our hip line, straight down to our skirt line, and then we're also going to connect our side seam sewing allowance, which is the extra half inch we added. We're going to connect that and label that the seam allowance, if any of this makes sense. I just hope you guys understand what I'm saying. Basically what I did here, I have already eliminated the dart while imputing my measurements. Okay, I did not add a dart to my skirts. The reason why I drew this dart was just to explain in case you want to add a dart to your skirt, but this skirt does not have a dart, it's a dartless skirt. So the reason why we're coming down from the middle of our skirt with 1 inch is so it has that round effect, so it's like relaxed and just goes around our waistline instead of it being straight. So our waistband would also have this round effect. If you're adding a waistband to your skirt, it just makes it more fitted. I don't know if you get. So now moving on to the back pattern, we're going to measure out 1 inch from the middle of our back pattern, and that 1 inch is going to be for our zipper allowance if we're going to be adding a zipper to this skirt. And then we're just going to go ahead and label again what we did for the front, the waistline, the hip line, and the skirt length. and then if you want to install a dart, you are going to go ahead and insert your dart measurement. But again, I did not add a dart to this skirt. I'm just drawing it. I already explained that for the front. I just used it to make an explanation on how to go about it if you want to include a dart to your skirt. So basically what we did for the front, we are going to do for the back, and go ahead to mark out our skirts, connecting the lines from the waist down to the skirt length. Note that for this skirt pattern, I'm just using 1/2 inch for my seam, my side seam sewing allowance, but you can feel free to use 1 to 1.5 inches. This is just what I wanted for this particular skirt pattern. Plus, I serged my edges as I sew, so I did not really need more than 1/2 inch. But if you feel that you need more than 1/2 inch to sew your side seams together, feel free to add your comfortable allowance. So moving on, what I'm doing here now is basically our zipper bulge elimination. So from our waistline, we're going to measure down 8 inches. This might vary, but just know it's about 1 to 1.5 inches above your hip line. So you measure that, and then you measure 1 inch inwards on your waistline and connect this down to your 8.5 or 9 inches marking, depending on your measurements. Okay, what I mean by 8.5 inches, my waist to hip measurement is 9 inches, so 1 inch above that is 8 inches for me. All right, so it might differ depending on your size. And then since this is a mini skirt and you would not be able to be adding too much of a slit, and you want to be able to walk comfortably in this skirt, you can decide to make it more fitted at the back, at the skirt length area at the back, which is on the zipper line. You can come in by 1 inch and then connect that to your hip line, but I decided to leave mine as is because I just wanted it to go straight down from my hip line, so I did not do that. But you can decide to do that. I'm just making that example. I'm just trying to explain that here. That's why I draw out a marking, but I am not going to be using that marking. All right, guys. So now that that explanation is out of the way, I went ahead to cut out my skirt pattern. So as you can see, for that back part, I explained I did not use that marking. I just used it for explanation purposes only. All right, so this is what it's looking like. That's what my back pattern is looking like. So now I'll go ahead and cut out my front pattern. So now these are our pattern pieces, and this is what they are looking like. Remember to cut your front pattern on folds, and then this is what they're looking like. So now, in case you want to add a waistband to your skirt, the back waistband just goes out straight upwards. No matter the length you want to use, it just goes out straight upwards for the back piece, but the front is curved. All right, the front will maintain its curve as you add your length upwards, just so the waistband sits nicely and more fitted around the waistline at the front part. And also note that the front waistband is also going to be cut on fold. And yeah, that's it for this tutorial, guys. I've come to the end of this video. I really hope it was helpful to you guys. Kindly like, share and comment your thoughts on this tutorial. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on post notifications. See you guys in the next one. Bye.